Hello and welcome back to our Pokemon Showdown team building sessions. Today we are building a team around the mighty Feraligatr. Which is weird, because when you think about it, I've already done Blastoise, well, Mega Blastoise, but you know. Done Frogadier, which admittedly is a mid-stage star evolution, but it's still been done. And now we're doing Feraligatr. We're halfway through the Water-type starters. Swampert confirmed for next week? Maybe not, but we have the Feraligatr here. And you know what? This week, we haven't just had a Pokemon that's going to set up a Dragon Dance and sweep in a while. The last Pokemon we did that with was Axu, which, does that even count? I don't even think that counts. That was a Little Cup Pokemon. So, going with a kind of basic set, we're just going to go Sheer Force Lum Berry, nice and protected from burns, all that fun stuff. We're going to run Dragon Dance to hopefully wipe through an entire team, or at least that's the dream. We're going to definitely be running Ice Punch, because Ice-type coverage is pretty much essential now in UU. I mean, it hits everything you need to hit, really. Goodra is way too powerful. Hydreigon, way too powerful. Gligar is even getting annoying. Or at least, well, this is mostly my opinion, but they're still there. So, Ice Punch, we're 100% running. We're also going to be running Waterfall, because it's stab, it's physical, it has a chance to flinch. Hopefully we should be outspeeding after a Dragon Dance. If not, we could be in trouble by not running Aqua Jet, but we'll see. And we're also going to run Earthquake. The only way that this differentiates from the normal set is most people would run Aqua Jet instead of Waterfall, which I find a little bit weird, because the reason you're setting up a Dragon Dance is to outspeed. Not really for the extra attack. Its attack is pretty good to start off with. So we are going to be forfeiting the attack bonus from having an Adamant Nature. We're going to go with Jolly Nature. We're going to go for the extra speed. 78 speed isn't a whole bunch. I'd just rather have the extra speed because, honestly, Choice Scarf anything will probably still outspeed even with the Jolly Nature. So, I mean, it's really personal preference if you want the extra power or extra speed. I'm going to go with speed, and we're going to get into a defensive core around this, which is nice and easy for once, because we have two weaknesses. Just two. This is why I love water types in a way. Two weaknesses, grass and electric. Both of which are resisted by a few types. Not that any are coming to mind all of a sudden. Dragon type would be a good one to start with. We could also have, like, something. I'm sure there's more, but either way. Dragon is pretty much what I'm looking at. It's a Pokemon that I actually mentioned. We are going to be running a Goodra, because it's broken, and it gives me the opportunity to call it Goofy Goober, which I think is a beautiful name, and that's pretty much the main reason I wanted to run it. I just want to run something called Goofy Goober, and we're even going to have it yellow, because it's ugly. What does Feraligatr even look like shiny? I'm distracted. I must see shinies. No. I like the blue up here. I don't like anything else. I only like the blue instead of the red. But Goofy Goober, right, what are you running? Are we running your Assault Vest? We do that a lot. I mean, we do that a lot because it works. And it can be good. But then we don't have any recovery. But do we need recovery? I mean, it's a frickin' Goodra that can just blow things up. We'll just run Assault Vest. And we'll run Gooey, because if not, what would we be doing? I want to have as much goo as possible, okay? This thing is goo. We're going to be running Dragon Pulse. We're going to be running... Oh, this is where it gets difficult. I never really know what I want to run. I'm going to be running Flamethrower for any... I don't know what we're running Flamethrower for. Are we running Flamethrower for anything? Do we need Flamethrower? I don't know. We don't have anything like Ferrothorn or Sizzle. It's nice coverage to have a Fire-type move, but we might swap that out, I don't know. We could run something like Power Whip, but meh. This is hard to decide on what the best coverage we want to run. It's very much personal preference at this point. It really depends on what you want to run, what you feel you need. So I'm actually going to leave most of this blank for now and just move on. We know that thing's going to be specially defensive because it has an Assault Vest. For the time being, though, we're going to work around the coverage that we feel we most need on the team a little bit later, and we're going to go into defensive core first. So we have to worry about Dragon, Fairy, Ice, all of which are resisted by Steel. I would like a Mega. And I think Mega Aggron pretty much fits what I'm looking for. So we're just going to take a Mega Aggron. We're going to give it... we're going to give it Rest. Because I want some kind of recovery, and I don't think it gets anything like Pain Split or anything like that. So we'll give it Rest. We'll give it Curse. Right, this is where my set's going to get a little bit weird, okay? This is where things are definitely going to look weird. So Rest, Curse, Iron Head, and that doesn't hit other Steel types, Electric types, Fire types, and Water types. So Earthquake pretty much allows us to hit most of that. There's obviously going to be like a Fire Flying type or a Water Flying type that might get around this, but for the most part, this looks like it's going to work. And we're going to run you with max HP and max special defense, specially defensive nature. So you're going to be a very much a mixed tank. But once we have a few curses up, we're going to be destroying souls. Obviously it's physical defense, we don't even need to put any points into that. Its attack, after we get a curse or two, gonna just destroy through things. So for a defensive wall, this thing definitely has setup potential. And as for a name, I'm going to be really unoriginal. I named so many Steel types Steven just because of 3rd gen champion. I'm unoriginal, okay? Deal with it. we're calling it Steven, and that's going to be a set that maybe isn't the best to have defensively for a defensive wall, but we'll see how that goes. We can maybe have something else that's kind of defensive later on as well to back it up. We'll see. So, what do we want? We want a special attacker. I'm just looking at the top here and I'm seeing a Zelf, and I know a Zelf gets nasty plot. I'm all about the setup today. Just everything needs to set up. We could run it with Focus Sash. It could be a potential lead. Unless... You know, I think we're just going to do it. I think we'll just run a Zelf. Everyone will be expecting, like, a Stealth Rock lead. That's pretty common. So, when they expect a Stealth Rock lead, they're expecting to trade rocks. We can go and set up a nasty plot, and we can just tear through the team. We'll see how this goes. This could go really well, this could go terribly. So we'll run Energy Ball, because most often we're going to be facing like a Diancie, a Don Fan, something along those lines that's going to be setting up the Stealth Rocks for the enemy team. We can also run... Do you get anything like Dark Pulse? You do not get Dark Pulse. Okay, that's strange. You'd think it would. You do get Shadow Ball and Signal Beam. Signal Beam is very tempting. Well, first of all, we should take Stab. We'll take Stab with Psyshock. And Signal Beam is very, very tempting. It does get access to Flamethrower and Thunderbolt, but those are two moves that Goodra can learn as well, so I don't feel we need them. However, Dazzling Gleam comes to mind as a pretty good move. But so does Signal Beam. Because Signal Beam would allow us to hit Dark and Psychic types, which are the two biggest threats to a Zelf in a way, because I can't hit them with the moves that I have at the moment. So as weird as it is to be running Signal Beam, we're going to do it. It's not a very common type either, but it hits things pretty hard. It allows us to hit Grass types, Dark types, as I said, Psychic types. So I mean, it could definitely have its uses. I don't know if it will be able to be shown off, but there are definitely the right... If you get the right opportunity, bam, there you go. Okay, that's very different. Name for a Zelf. I don't have a name for a Zelf yet, I'll come back to that. Right, we have specially offensive Pokemon, check. It's quite fast as well. So, what do we need? What do we need on this team? What kind of types are we weak to? Dark and Ghost, kind of. God, other than that, we're actually looking really nice in terms of our coverage. Okay. Wow, we're looking really nice in terms of coverage. I guess, like, Dragon would probably be the worst. Like, a Gabite would probably tear through this team. A Gabite. I'm sorry. No, Gabite would not tear through this team. Probably a Dark type then. Probably a Dark type, which makes me want a Fairy type, because I just like Fairy types. But in this tier, we don't have... So many good Fairy types are in, like, OU. Like Mega Altaria, that's a Pokemon I would love to use, possibly next week actually, just a little hint. I would definitely like to use a Mega Altaria. Azumarill is also great, Clefable is great, Mega Gardevoir is great. OU Fairies are great. We could take Sylveon, but I feel like Sylveon has kind of gotten a little bit worse in comparison to how it was. We could take Slurpuff if you want to just more setup. Diancie would give us a Stealth Rock user, which would be really nice actually. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see how this looks. Do I want a Citrus? I normally run Citrus, but that's mainly because I don't know what else to run. Do we have anything with leftovers yet? We don't. Just gonna run this thing with leftovers, not gonna overthink things. Okay. So we could have this as our secondary defensive Pokemon in comparison with the Mega Aggron. So we could definitely see how they work together. They're both weak to ground, but I mean, that's not too much of a problem, hopefully. We'll see. As for moves, I don't really know what I want to do with this. Well, I did say Stealth Rock, so that's a good start. We could give it Calm Mind. I just want to see what the recommended set comes up with if we give it Calm Mind, Diamond Storm, and Moonblast. Obviously, there are things this doesn't hit. That makes me want to... That makes it run negative defense. That's weird. I'd say instead of Calm Mind, we just run Earth Power, and then it should be pretty much perfect coverage. I think that is perfect coverage, actually. Fairy and Ground just pair so well together, because I'm sure I say this like every episode now, but Fairy hit, doesn't hit, Fire, Steel, Poison, Earth hits all of them. Well, Ground, not Earth. Earth Power would allow me to hit all of them. If there is a Fire Flying type that would be immune to that, Diamond Storm hits it, so I think that's pretty much perfect. I don't want a negative defense nature, that's for certain. I'd rather take negative speed, because we don't need to be the fastest. And as for our spread on how we're going to run this thing, I think some special attack would be nice. So we'll just put like a random number in there. Okay, this set is going to look really weird, but we're going to run sort of a little bit in defense to try and make this thing a little bit more defensive and a little bit in special offense. I feel like it needs to hit 300 or else I'm not going to be happy with myself. How do I make you hit 300? There we go, 300. I'm happy. Okay. So as weird as that set looks, okay, I understand it looks weird. Hopefully this will work somehow and it will be great. And this is, oh, so do I want you to be in white or in like black and red? Well, we could go black and red because it's different. Yeah, and we're just going to call you Princess Carbink because I'm fairly certain I normally call you like Carbink 2.0 or... I just call it Carbink something. Oh, I've missed the capital C. Sad times. Okay, so defensive Carbink, not Carbink, Diancie. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me? Defensive Diancie. We'll see how that goes. That could be terrible. That could be great. That's happening with a lot of this team. It has the potential to like just destroy a team on its own. We'll see how it pairs together though. And for our final Pokemon, I want something that gets Choice Scarf U-turn. I always save this till last for some reason, which I really need to stop doing that, but we'll see what can get U-turn that would be good. So we can't take Mega Beedrill. Persian's weak, Primeape is weak, Cypher is weak to every type. Moltres, admittedly a fire type would be kind of nice in a way, although that would make us very weak to ground. But if we had Moltres, then we wouldn't. I'd rather just not have the ground weakness. I'd rather have like a fighting type with U-turn. So can I filter by both? I can. So I have the choices of Mienshao, Infernape, or Primeape, basically, because I'm not going to run a pre-evolution when I can use the evolved form that's better. So I think, out of what I can see, Mienshao would probably be the best. Fire-type offensive moves would be nice, but we're going to take a Mienshao. I have no name for Mienshao whatsoever. I'm just going to call it what I call quite a lot of my fighting types. I'm just going to call it Juju. And we will give it Choice Scarf. We'll give it Regenerator, because that is a lovely ability to have on something that can U-turn. We'll give it the U-turn. Now it does get Sword Stance, which actually I just really want to set up today. No, we'll scrap that. Drain Punch, Sword Stance, Drain Punch. Oh, that could be so much fun. Drain Punch is my favourite move for anyone that doesn't know. That's why I just want to use it all the time. But we'll give it a miss this one time, as saddening as it is, and we'll run Knockoff. And High Jump Kick is probably our best option. It's risky. It's a risky move, but we'll take it. And do I want to Fake Out? Do I want to Fake Out, or do I want to run something else? Well, obviously Fake Out won't pair with Choice Scarf, so yeah, that's completely out of it, never mind. It comes down to, do I want to run Poison Jab to deal with Fairy types, or do I want to run Stone Edge to deal with Flying types? And to be honest, we kind of have a check to Fairy types in Mega Aggron. Like, any Fairy type that comes in is going to get destroyed by Mega Aggron, except, actually, now that I think about it, Mega Gardevoir wouldn't. Well, not Mega Gardevoir, just Gardevoir in general. Gardevoir would probably destroy Mega Aggron with a Focus Blast, which makes me reconsider a little bit and makes me think I do actually want to run Poison Jab. Because when it comes to Flying types can't hit Mega Aggron, can't hit Diancie. Diancie can return with Diamond Storm. We're going to take Poison Jab. Okay. I actually thought something through. That is something you will not see on this channel ever again, okay? Okay. As for Shiny, do we want the pink hands that look like claws in a way? We'll take the pink hands. And we'll make you female. Juju can be female, and I need a name for Azelf. I'm thinking of names that begin with A, and the Game of Thrones reference is real, because I can only think of Arya, so there we go. Name beginning with A. Nailed it. Now, we still have one more thing to look at, and that is, we do not have a full moveset on this Goodra. So, I kind of want to run Thunderbolt, because we don't have any electric coverage. As for Fire, we don't have any Fire coverage, so I also want Flamethrower, to be honest. And we have Fighting coverage. I don't need to worry too much about Focus Blast. Blizzard is kind of tempting. Or Ice Beam, which is weird. We could also take something like Sludge Bomb to hit a Fairy type that might come in on us. But to be honest, I think the best thing we could do would just be, if a Fairy type comes in on us, hit it with whatever, who really cares, and then just swap into something else. So I think Ice Beam? I don't know, I'm genuinely not sure. Ice Beam definitely hits the most types. Sludge Bomb can hit my weakness. Decisions, that's what it comes down to. What types does Ice hit? Flying, we can hit with Thunderbolt. Ground. Ground we can't hit. That's a big favour to Ice Beam there. We can't actually hit ground types right now. And ground types are pretty damaging to our team, with both our defensive core being weak to it. That alone, we're running Ice Beam over Sludge Bomb, and we're going to run max special attack because the Assault Vest makes up for our low special defense. Not that it's low in the slightest, to be honest, because just look at this monstrous special defense stat. Either way, I say I think a lot at the end of these, but I think that's going to wrap up everything, provided this is valid. Okay, team is valid for you. That is going to be our Pokemon Showdown team today, built around this Feraligatr. Hopefully we can get a Dragon Dance sweep. We'll see about that. I don't have high hopes, to be honest. I'm as much as I think it's powerful, I don't think it can sweep, but we'll go for it. We'll definitely go for it. So that's going to wrap up today's episode. If you guys have enjoyed this episode, leave a like down below, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, bye!